So from Gwangju, South Korea.
Now his first major league start.
Swung on and missed for strike three, and a good start for the right-hander. Strike three call. So with back-to-back strikeouts.
Extraordinary pitching talent. He was throwing his fastball in the mid-90s.
Strike three call.
He's having a terrific year.
Swung on and missed. So works out of trouble again.
미국 프로야구 뉴욕 매치의 서재영이 제5 선발의 행운을 잡으며 미국 진출 6년 만에 선발 투수의 꿈을 이루었습니다.
Puerto Rico second inning, no score. Michael Barrett at the plate against Jay So. Throws it into center field instead of an inning-ending double play. The Expos now have men at first and third. Next man, Jamie Carroll. Oh, come on and squeeze me like you do. Wilkerson comes in to score. Expos take a 1-0 lead.
Shot Jack. 455 feet deep. First ball to strike the batter's backdrop at PNC Park. Jaso gets his first win, and the Mets, they win this one 7-2.
Cast a large shadow over the Mets, making his first start since April 11th. Now, the Mets struck out 12 times in that first game, and now they're just gassing them away. We pick it up with, well, Jaso goes down. He had 16. Vance Wilson was 17. McHugh, 18. Cedeno, 19. Tony Clark, 20. Raul Gonzalez, 21. Shinjo, 22. Wilson, 23. Ray Sanchez, 24. 7 on the day. Perhaps the defense will save them. Or perhaps not. Luis Gonzalez, ground ball. Hey, double play. No. How about safe at both second and first? Joe McHugh way off the bag. Error number 4. A couple of batters later with the bases. Chuck, Mark Gray singles. Cedeno bobbling it. 2 runs will score. And the Mets down now. 2-1. Error number 5. Top 4 tied at 2. Randy Johnson single. Yosho Shinjo bobbling the ball again. Chad Moeller scores. Error 8. Error 6. It's on player 8 in your scorebook. Craig Counsell then fly ball to left. Gonzalez makes the catch. That's a good start, but then tries to throw out Johnson at first in the big unit. Well, no. Ball gets away again. Error for Gonzalez. This is just ugly in any number of ways. Gonzalez to Robbie Alomar, who can't come up with it. Number 8 for the Mets on the day. The D-backs win it 7-3. Shall we give the unhappy recap of all the ugliness?
Anybody takes that back foot, which you usually rotate on, and your first move is to move it. There was a non-roster invitee to spring training. That had to be the last off.
It had to be the last stop on the pitching train. Gonzalez chops one. Steins will get one out. And not too often see this. No throw.
Huge jump. Well, you know what? He was prudent.
He's running a lot easier. Piazza to right center field. Walker going back. Walker looking, and Piazza has hit another one.
Handed occasionally when you think there's going to be a problem.
That's a fair ball. Wigginton was in a little bit. Butler pulled it right past him, and he's going for second here. And Floyd's throw. Hit on the ground, and a base hit. A hold.
See that low target.
Got a ground ball. Let's see if they can turn 2. McEwing. No, Steins beat it out. Eaton to right field. Gonzalez chasing. Can't get there. Now the challenge is, can he get the ball kicks along the wall, and the game will be tied. And Jay Payton, with his first hit of the series, ends up with a triple. 3-1. And there's the walk. So, and cautiously has walked the bases loaded. Walker, shallow center. Shinjo can't get there, and 2 runs will score. And will a 3rd run score? Here comes a man to the plate. Mets throwing the ball around the... And there's the second hit. And Alomar will be on base for the 2nd time today. He has his 12th double of the year, 3 hits. Piazza to right field, and that'll get Alomar home. So the Mets get a run back. Walker going all the way to the corner to play it. Piazza.
Player's way.
Alomar with another hit. Around his head pitch. There goes Alomar. There'll be no throw. Gonzalez to right field. Walker can't get there. A big base hit for Raul Gonzalez. Alomar in. Gonzalez to second. Of course, that's left. One situation, whichever pitcher he faces. The one. Cedeno chops one, and he's going to get himself a hit, and the Mets have tied the game. Inside. In the dirt, Kapler's going, doesn't matter.
Great instincts.
And there's a hit, so here's going to be your play at the plate. Gonzalez throwing, Kapler coming home, and he'll score.
Anybody take that back foot, which you usually rotate on, and your first move is to move it, almost in a walking fashion, then kick your leg up and bring it down. But he's been hot. It's funny what you do when you're in your stance. It's supposed to be your comfort zone.
Well, it's one of the great lessons you learn around baseball is that there's no one way to teach.
No, and that's very important for a youngster to learn. Get comfortable in your stance, because it really doesn't matter. That's just the starting point. Then the rest of it is you have to get your hands to go back into a hitting position. You have to have a proper stride. You have to keep your head on the ball. The stance is somewhat insignificant, except that you're comfortable doing it.
3-1 now to Steins. The landscape baseball is littered with players who succeed, then struggle, and they eventually say, I went back and looked at what I was doing when I was going good. And that's what I decided to keep doing.
At one time, players used to adjust their stances. It could be during the course of an at-bat. It could be when you're facing a particular pitcher. Remember, Rod Carew used to do it all the time.
No leadoff walk and a fly ball here hit to Shinjo. And Chris Steins out.
And let's take a look at the defense behind Jay Salt. In the infield for the Mets, you got Clark at first, Alomar at second, McEwing, who we will focus on, at short, and Wigginton at third. Floyd, Perez, and Cedeno left to right in the outfield. And Mike Piazza doing the catching this afternoon, but there's the man who's playing shortstop. And by the way, Art Howe, I mentioned in spring training, I talked to Art Howe, he loves Joe McEwing. And now it seems that he's going to play him even if Ray Sanchez gets healthy. I don't blame him. He said he oozes that effervescent personality. You get some energy from him.
Well, that's the word, energy, right?
Well, it's very, very important, and he has done it. You can see why managers love him. And he's doing a nice job at shortstop. He's made some nice picks out there. And Art Howe in spring training said that's the type of player managers love, because he says, where do you want me to play, and what do you want me to do?
Jay Payton 0 for 10 in the series. This is a long run in, and Gonzalez going to get there, as Alomar did not get back on that ball well. Not sure if Alomar lost it, but didn't get back, and Gonzalez had to take it.
Once again, Gonzalez coming in making that grab. See Alomar going out. Once that outfielder calls for it, the infielder is supposed to stop.
So 2 down now, and it'll be Todd Helton. 6 home runs for Helton this year. But one last note on the shortstop story. Joe McEwing had some back spasms this morning, and Art Howe was a little concerned about that. But Joe came to him and said, look, I'll play, because Sanchez is still not able to play. And the Mets are in a situation that they, I think, have been in far too often the last year and a half. They're playing shorthanded. Art Howe today has 2 men on his bench. Jay Bell's not available. Sanchez apparently not available. And Timo Perez pulled a calf muscle last night. That's why he was taken out of the game. Timo is available today only to pinch hit.
So just put these guys out there and let them play the whole game.
CGs. But as a manager, you just can't keep playing this.
No, no, you can't. He'll have to make an adjustment if he can't get a healthy player.
Right. So if a guy like Sanchez comes in every day and says he's not able to play, eventually he's just got to DL again. You can't keep playing short-handed.
Here's that last pitch to Todd Helton. Hit the target.
Inside, it's 3-2. Outfield very deep here for Helton, especially Shinjo playing very deep in center. Helton goes on the ground to short, right at McEwen. And there's a good start for Jay So, a 1-2-3 first inning, and the Mets and the lead on Piazza's home run. Number of African Americans as Preston Wilson stands in and playing the game for 4 decades, and Preston Wilson is one of 5 African American players on Colorado, which is the most on any one team in Major League Baseball this year. I think the mid-70s, the figure was at 27%. It is a staggering drop that baseball, I know, has been aware of. They have addressed and need to continue to address them even more fervently.
And in baseball, you get a lot of competition from other sports, although, you know, and it's also tough to send scouts into areas that are dangerous to scout kids, unfortunately for the kids.
And Wilson hits a soft one, shallow left. That's going to fall from that deep set. In the outfield, Floyd unable to get there. And that's a lot of times why now you're starting to see outfielders play more shallow in this ballpark earlier in games to stop that little flare that should be caught from dropping in.
The thing is, Preston Wilson can hit the ball a ton, so what happens is you have to play him deep. You have to respect his power. And when a power hitter takes a swing and gets jammed, the ball's going to, more than likely, the ball's going to drop in because you set up defensively deep for a power hitter. I'm not so sure they should bring the outfielders in this ballpark. When these guys juice that ball, it's not going to drop in front of them.
Big swing, little hit there for Wilson.
Boy, but Wilson is he's off to a great start again this year. He's playing against the Mets like he doesn't like it.
This is Babe Ruth. To the Mets, that's what he looks like.
How about 20 home runs against the Mets? He can run, they better watch him.
Now Walker. The interesting thing about Colorado right now, Wilson is red hot, but he's providing their only power right now. They've not had a home run. And you're talking about a team with Walker and Helton, and they've not had a home run from anybody other than Preston Wilson the last 13 games.
That'll change in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, but now, to be fair about that, as the Panasonic Past Facts shows you that, to be fair, a lot of those games are on the road.
But they still should, they should still hit home runs in a row.
Although,
Preston Wilson did.
Exactly, but as we've seen for years with the Rockies. Don Baylor talked about this ad nauseum with you. These guys get used to hitting here, and they go on the road, and it's a whole different game.
I think it psychs them out.
Absolutely. Don Baylor lived through it.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with their ability. I think that they go on the road, they expect to struggle.
There goes Wilson. Walker missing. Piazza's throw. That's a good throw, and they got him. Piazza with a throw that harkens back to spring training. That might be the last time we've seen Mike make a throw like that.
He made a good throw over the weekend in New York against the Padres, and here's a good pitch for Mike to handle. Makes a strong throw to second base, and that's a catcher's strike to second base. But I'm knee-high, give the infielder a chance to catch it and tag the speedy, and I mean speedy, Preston Wilson. So a real good throw by Mike Piazza.
So a strikeout throw, a double play. What a huge play that is, because Walker, one of the more difficult power hitters in the game to strike out. Now Hernandez bats with no one on.
The only reason anybody's thinking about moving Mike Piazza is because of his throwing.
There's a hit to the gap. Gonzalez cuts it off, and he'll hold Hernandez to a single.
Funny though, when Mike Piazza first joined the Mets and started hammering the baseball, first thing people started talking about was we're going to move him to keep him strong. Here's the ball that's hit hard by Hernandez. Good fastball hitter. Struck out 189 times last year. And right there, he picks up a base hit to right center field. I should say 187 times. You know, when you get over 180, who cares?
So here's Charles Johnson now with 2 outs and a runner on. Rolls one wide of third. And that takes care of the inning. So that strikeout throwout double play of Walker diffused a Rockies threat. And at the end of 2, it's Wednesday afternoon in Denver, 2-0 New York. Lots more.
How about that? Jay So running around the batter's box.
I was going to say, he's watching Chris Steins.
How about he ran a little bit quicker.
Well, you know what I love about that swing, though? Jay So was swinging hard in case he hit it. And that's what you want a pitcher to do.
That's exactly right.
I mean, take a rip at it. If the bat meets the ball here, you might give it a run. We're in Milwaukee, and Jay So in batting practice hit a ball on the second deck in Miller Park, and he was just elated. I mean, I don't think he'd ever done that before.
I'm not so sure that the manager likes it, but the pitchers do have that batting practice where everybody tries to hit the ball over the wall, except the St. Louis Cardinals. They're told to hit the ball up the middle and the other way. Look at that. He's not going to cheat himself.
And I agree with you, particularly in situations with men on base.
Well, the one thing, you know, they don't take that much batting practice, so it's something that they should really concentrate on in BP. Hit that ball the other way, because the ball is out over the plate, usually the pitcher, so give it a shot. And you can help yourself out. Look at what Tom Glavine has done for himself throughout his career. Every aspect of his game, he has worked on.
But I like now, you know, certain guys are not, no matter how much work, certain pitchers just aren't going to be good hitters.
You know, most of the guys, as you know, Ted, most of the guys as amateur players swung the bat pretty well.
Except now, in today's day and age, they don't hit. I mean, the DH is in every level of the game.
Yeah. Then you have the aluminum bats.
I wonder, I'm not sure how much Jay So ever hit in Korea where they use the DH all the time. And so as a result, I guess my point is if you're leading off an inning and the guy's not a great hitter, I don't mind him taking a rip. Come out of your shoes once.
Oh, I agree.
See if you put a charge in the ball. Now he's doing a good job here, making Oliver at least throw some pitches.
He is really swinging from his heels, as they say. Take a look at this swing. Look at the leg kick. He has a higher leg kick as a hitter than he does as a pitcher.
That's right. 10th pitch of the at-bat, and it's ball 4. How about that? Double play ball. Well, it's just what Darren Oliver wanted. After the long battle with the pitcher that he lost, he gets Alomar to hit to a 6-4-3.
Tailor-made. Hernandez couldn't have asked for a softer hop to play the ball, and then he made a perfect flip to Butler. Butler with a strike to first base. Here's Jay So going in hard at second base.
Well, tomorrow on MSG, 6 p.m. The weekly look at the Mets in depth with Fran Healy on Mets Inside Pitch. That'll be tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, right here on MSG Network.
Got a feature on Raul Gonzalez, how many years he spent in the minor leagues, his brief exposure in the major leagues, and also an extended interview with Don Baylor about breaking up double plays, getting hit with pitches.
There's Brent Butler leading off the 3rd inning for Colorado. Butler had a big night, 3 hits, drove in 2 runs last night, and as a result gets a chance to play again.
That's tough. You know, when you go out there, you get a couple of hits, all of a sudden you're back in the land the next day and you say, I got to get some more hits. You put extra pressure on yourself.
Cold foul.
When you're a regular player and you're out there every day, you know if you go 0 for 4 last night and you go 0 for 4 today, well, tomorrow night you're still in the lineup, so you tend to relax. And the only way you can play this game is to be totally relaxed.
And Butler hits one, the long run for Floyd. And Cliff's going to get there and make the play. Nicely done by Floyd, who's done a lot of running in the 3 games of this series, and he gets into foul ground to make that catch.
Yeah, he's been fighting or playing with that injury to his leg, and yet he runs a long way, makes the grab right near the barrier down the left field line. Well, he ran a long way for that ball for a guy who's been nursing a sore leg. And Butler said, "Why me?"
Well, now the Mets have to be ready because Darren Oliver can hit. This guy's the son of a big league hitter. And look at that career batting average.
His dad, Bob Oliver, played a number of years in the major leagues, and he was a good player, a good hitter.
And there's Oliver. Darren Oliver has the 3rd highest career batting average among active pitchers, behind only Mike Hampton and Livan Hernandez. And that was a swing that showed you why.
You can do nothing but help yourself if you learn how to swing that bat, and you're a pitcher. You come into the major leagues, and at times a manager might stay with you in a ball game where he would pull another pitcher, figuring you might be able to pick up a base hit in a more successful fashion than a pinch hitter.
And you can be a pinch hitter sometimes. If you swing like that,
oh yeah,
you get a manager gets in a jam, he can use you as a pinch hitter.
David Cohn was the guy who pinch hit for the Mets. Tom Glavine is a guy who can swing that bat.
That's exactly right. And I saw Livan Hernandez get used frequently in the last few years as a pinch hitter. But anyway, it's a nice option. And if you're Art Howe and you're short-handed like you've been in this series, you might turn to a Glavine and say, if I need you today, be ready to swing.
And it increases your value to a ball club if you don't have the credentials of a Tom Glavine on the mound. It increases your value. I'm sure Babe Ruth did some pinch hitting over the years when he was a pitcher for the Red Sox, because he might have been their best hitter.
Yeah. Say another guy who's done it very well in recent years is Woody Williams.
Yes.
Bruce Bochy in San Diego used him a lot as a pinch hitter. Steins fouls it away, 2-2. Beautiful day here in Denver. I think this is the biggest crowd of the 3 days that we've been here, because it's just a gorgeous day. The outfield seats are full. They had 10 inches of snow here in Denver Friday, if you can believe that.
By Monday, it was perfect.
70 degrees. 6 weeks ago, just before the regular season started, they had a snowstorm that dumped 5 feet of snow in the Denver area.
It's unbelievable.
And up there, of course, I don't know, did Keith go back up there today?
I think he's up there skiing.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Keith on skis. That must be a great sight. He's on a sled. Everybody else is on skis.
2-2 to Steins. And the pitch missing. So a full count. Rockies with the comeback win last night, 12-5 here, 6-16 on the road, which is much more in the Rocky tradition. So his play's going to be to first base here. Gets him. Oliver advances with 2 down. Now, New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Chrysler, Drive and Love, by Panasonic, Ideas for Life, and by your local Toyota dealer. Get the feeling, Toyota. So Jay Payton will bat with 2 outs, runner at second. Stuck on an 0 for 11 in this series. And here's a guy with a batting average over 400 in this ballpark. So let's see if the Mets can continue that 0 for. Payton's going to have an answer here and get the Rockies on the board.
And Jay Payton with that .313 batting average has been lighting it up here in Denver.
Fouled away.
I'm sure he's going to press against the Mets because he wants to show everybody they made a mistake. And the Mets gave him an opportunity. Unfortunately for Jay Payton, he had the injuries, and I mean serious injuries, but that he battled back from. But you knew eventually he would be able to get it together. Just how much patience you can have is somewhat debatable, especially in New York.
He was a terrific acquisition here.
Oh, yes.
There's a good pitch for a strike. You need athletic outfielders here. And what I think what the Rockies have learned the last couple of years, you really need athletic outfielders that can hit. Like Larry Walker, like Jay Payton, like Preston Wilson.
Well, he has a .324 average with runners in scoring position.
Oh, but so gets him with the high fastball, so the Mets really stopped Jay Payton so far in this series. And after 3, it stays 2-0 New York. Thank you, Kurt. Very sobering news when we heard before the game about the passing of Dave DeBuscher.
A very nice guy, a great athlete out of the University of Detroit, basketball, baseball player. In fact, funny story, and I used to kid Dave about it, and he would always say, you got to forget that story. I brought Harmon Killebrew to his restaurant one time, and when I introduced him, Dave DeBuscher owned a restaurant called George Martin's on 3rd Avenue one time, and when I introduced him, Dave said, you don't have to introduce us. He said, because I just saw 10 of Harmon Killebrew's longest home runs recorded, and he said, I threw 2 of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had whiplash from a couple, right?
So I would use that story occasionally. He told me, you know what, you got to lose that story. He was a great player.
Oh, great two-sport athlete. Boy, his kid used to practice that jump shot from the top of the key that he mastered during the Knicks' glory years. Helton fouls it away 1-1.
Defensively, I've never seen anybody like him. I was talking to him about, he covered Connie Hawkins, one of the great basketball players of all time. I saw him just beat poor Connie Hawkins. I mean, he hammered him all over the floor. He'd go out the game, Connie Hawkins scored, he'd go back in and bang him again. Oh, unbelievable.
Helton taking a run at another double there, but he pulls it foul. As you saw the Dreyfus look at the numbers, and one of the things that in this ballpark a good hitter should shine in is doubles.
And this guy shines not only in doubles, he hits for high average, hits for home runs, and he uses the whole field. The other night he came out of his slump by popping a couple balls to left field off of some tough pitches.
High drive here to right center field, and Gonzalez will have room right at the wall. And how frustrating that is in this ballpark when you hit one like that and it doesn't go.
You never hear, you rarely hear, it's a long drive to the outfield and he has room.
I know.
There's our Aflac trivia question. Ty Wigginton hit his 5th triple in the Mets' 39th game. Which Met reached 5 triples in fewer games?
Ah, Healy, you're so smart. You know it all, Healy. Scooter ever say that to you?
Lance Johnson told me one time he never got thrown out at third base. Trying to stretch it into a triple. Hard to believe.
That is hard to believe. There's a pop-up caught by McEwing right near second base, and the Mets got Preston Wilson out. Let's pause for a second on that one.
I know.
Okay,
really.
the Mets got Preston Wilson out. And here comes Larry Walker. You know, Larry Walker tells a story on himself. It's one of the more amazing stories talking about where a player came from, who of course grew up in Canada, grew up a hockey player. When he went to the rookie league with the Montreal Expos way back when, it's been a rookie league game. He's on first base. Guy hits a long fly ball out to the wall, deep right center field. Outfielder goes back to catch it. Walker's already rounded second. He's halfway to third. To go back to first base, he cut right across the pitcher's mound.
I love it.
He didn't know that you had to retrace.
Well, he could talk to Jay Payton because Jay Payton didn't retouch second base.
Yeah. This was a little more glaring.
Yeah,
when you cut right across the middle of the infield, and it was just Walker having to learn a game that he's really unfamiliar with growing up in British Columbia.
He's the greatest baseball player ever to come out of Canada. Of course, Fergie Jenkins was a great pitcher.
2-2. Jim Gallagher does not let you miss anything, does he? Gallagher's on top of it all. Working along with Bill Webb, Grant O'Connell, Mike Santini, and our crew here in Denver. Two and two. And Walker hammers that pitch. Might have been the same ball that he struck out on in the second inning. And he hammers that one into right field for a 2-out single.
So Larry Walker, who grew up in Canada, is making himself a big name in the United States, gets a pitch that's up. Boy, what a good swing. Hits the ball in a hole.
That one wasn't quite up as far as the one he struck out on the last time.
Jay So pitches up. When you pitch up, when you get later in the game and you lose a little bit off that fastball, then you're in the danger zone. And managers would tend to
slowly hit ball to McEwing, and he gets him at first. And Jay So far has conquered Coors Field, 4 shutout innings, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
Love that shot. That is
ice cream.
That is a terrific shot. And she has been fooling around with whatever she is eating there, making sure it's very clean. She's not going to get it any place except in that cup.
Oh, I know exactly what she was doing, didn't you? She's picking the chocolate chips up. She didn't want the rest. She just wants the chocolate chips. But I don't blame her.
Look at the doll here. The doll's at the ballpark. Now look at her go.
Yeah, see that's.
Yeah, she's very, very meticulous. And she is not going to get any of that on anything.
What, her mom is going to love her. Mike Piazza, meanwhile, got stung by the foul tip and is being tended to now by the Mets trainer.
When you see a catcher down like that,
I think you know where he got hit?
Exactly. It's the one part of catching you just don't ever want to think about. It hurts up here. You can take the foul tip any place, and you can deal with it, shake it off. But right there, you know what? There's no shaking it off. I can assure you. Oh,
it's just, folks, I wish you could see Fran Healy as he relates this story, because he's cringing.
Oh, I'm telling you.
From the memories.
Yeah, I think I've
It's amazing you're not a soprano after all this.
Oh. I mean, I mentioned this before, you know, through it delicately. The protective cup is the most important thing you can have as a catcher, and I had mine broken in half. Well, I want to tell you,
that's enough.
Oh, and you know what? Then they took me to the hospital to get checked up, and they had a bad relationship with the hospital like a block away. They had to take me across Chicago in an ambulance as I was bouncing around. Did I tell enough?
Yeah, that's more. I shut it out 15 seconds ago.
I hate to tell you what they were thinking about doing. I said, we're getting a second opinion. And I know nothing about medicine.
And we're going to keep getting it until I get the one I want.
That's right.
2-1 to Charles Johnson. Of course, Mike just coming back also from having stitches removed in his abdomen. One hopper to McEwing. Oh my goodness. Watching Piazza come out of the crouch with a very painful attempt to go back up first base on that, and he did not appear enthused.
Backing up first base, that's an interesting move. When you really truly think about it, how many times have you seen a catcher retrieve a ball behind first base and stop a runner from going to second? Rarely.
Well, I would say in this era now, with so many new ballparks with very little foul ground, the need for that seems to be.
Well, in a way, it's kind of false hustle. I can understand it occasionally when you think there's going to be a problem.
That's a fair ball. Wigginton was in a little bit. Butler pulled it right past him, and he's going for second here. And Floyd's throw, not in time. Brent Butler hustles his way to a one-out double.
He might hustle himself back into that lineup again tomorrow night. You see the manager, Clint Turtle, making a note. Talked about it earlier. Butler had a couple hits in last night's game. Got himself back in the lineup today. Here he hits the ball right down the third baseline. And he hustles all the way to second base. This is a strong throw by Cliff Floyd. But the problem was it short hopped Alomar at second. When it short hops you, you have to do something funny to catch it. You got to bring the glove up and out. If that ball was one hop and didn't short hop him, good shot at getting a runner. Here's Butler again. Hits the ball down left field line. But when the ball is short hops on infielder, watch the movement of his glove. His concern there was catching the ball instead of tagging the runner. A true hop, one hop to second base, his concern will be touching the runner.
So now the ability of Oliver to hit plays into the game, because Oliver got a solid hit his first time up, and suddenly with a man in scoring position, J-So falls behind 2-0. I gave Oliver a little bit of his own medicine there. A good 2-0 changeup.
Yeah, you got to pitch Oliver like he is a good hitter, which he is. If you have a breaking ball and you're facing a pitcher, situation like this, throw it.
2-2.
You keep messing with that fastball, especially up in that happy zone of Oliver's. He already has one hit in his ball game. We're talking about how J-So loves to pitch up. That's his strong suit. Vern Rule looking on. See, the thing about our scouting report on Bruce Fromming, J-So doesn't have to worry about it because he doesn't like to throw those low strikes. No guessing. Oh, boy. There's Bruce.
Hit on the ground and a base hit. A hold. Butler at third. Butler had to hold because there was a chance McEwing could get to that ball, but Darren Oliver helps himself with his second hit.
And once again, he picks up a base hit to left field. Bounces over the glove of Joe McEwing. And Oliver now is on first base, so the Rockies have runners on first and third as Butler hustled over to third base. Wasn't sure about whether or not Joe McEwing was going to catch that ball. I think if it was a cleaner base hit, Sandy Alomar Sr. would have sent Butler and challenged Cliff Floyd's arm. Chris Steins will now bat.
The Rockies have 6 hits. The Mets have only 1. But the Mets have the lead, as Oliver done this before, even though he spent most of his career in the American League. He can still hit it and lost his swing. Well, J-So, a guy that pitches up, Fran, has find some way here to try to get a ground ball. He needs to get out of the inning.
Well, historically, those high ball pitchers are not going to give many ground balls. They're going to get that fly ball. You don't want a long fly ball in this ballpark. See that low target.
Got a ground ball. Let's see if they can turn 2. McEwing! No, Steins beat it out. And the Rockies are on the board.
And if you get a shot at Joe McEwing, he threw that ball with every ounce of strength he had. But Steins hustling down the line. Look at this. Ball hit to Alomar, who flips to McEwing, and then McEwing just threw a bullet to first base. But good hustle by Chris Steins.
That's what that play is. The Mets turned that as well as they could.
You see when the Soul was hoping for that double play, you saw Robbie Alomar with that sidearm soft flip to second base, and McEwing has tried to throw a bullet over to first.
Now, do you think Alomar had enough time there to spin?
Probably could have got a little bit more on the ball, but Robbie seems to be comfortable when he soft tosses with the flip. And nobody's done it better than Robbie for years, and right there, they just didn't get the runner at first base.
I'm wondering if he would have had enough time
to turn and
throw
and flip.
Because the timing of that play was perfect.
Yeah, ball wasn't hit that hard.
Right.
Ball wasn't hit that hard, and the runner had slowed down between first and second, so he wouldn't be tagged. Watch this. Now watch the runner. So see Robbie Alomar flips to second.
Perfect timing, right?
Perfect. And Joe McEwing with the bullet to first just didn't get him.
I mean, sometimes don't you just say, hey, the guy hustled, he beat it out, right?
Yeah, that was good baseball. And you know what? Steins hustled right out of the box. He didn't say, I hit a ground ball at second base. He hustled from home to first and beat the throw.
So Jay Payton with a long look down at Sandy Alomar. Payton has flied to shallow right, struck out swinging. 2-1 ball game now in the 5th inning.
Gotta believe that the Rockies will attempt to steal in this situation. Steins with decent speed. Mike Diaz has already cut down Preston Wilson. But until he does it consistently, you gotta wonder if teams will test it.
There he goes, and Payton fouls it away. And that's an interesting debate that has gone on as long as baseball's been here in Denver. How much running you should do, because there's a very strong school that says you should never, ever run into an out here, because the man at first base is in scoring position.
Well, if you have speed, you can usually predict speed. You can't predict swinging to the bat. And I feel that you should use every asset. Now, if he gets thrown out at second base like Preston Wilson did, then you're mad at yourself for sending him.
So it's just an interesting debate, because during the best years here, during Don Baylor's managing years, when they had the Blake Street Bombers, those guys did run. Bichette stole some bases.
Yeah.
Ellis Burke stole some bases.
You know, if you get you have 2 table setters that can run, utilize those table setters. And, you know, a great example was the Oakland A's when Bill North and Bert Campaneris were 1 and 2 hitters in that team.
Payton to right field. Gonzalez chasing. Can't get there. Now the challenge is, can he get the hut? The ball kicks along the wall, and the game will be tied. And Jay Payton, with his first hit of the series, ends up with a triple. And we are tied at 2. And it was the carom along that unusual right field corner that enabled this tying run to score.
Well, Jay Payton hits the ball hard. It keeps tailing away from Raul Gonzalez. And you see where that ball hit, and then took another positive hop for the Rockies as Steins hustles all the way around to score. And Jay Payton, with great speed, goes into third base with a triple. Watch Payton go. He can run. Ball's in front of him, and he's thinking 3 bases all the way. And Payton can fly. So he goes into third base with a stand-up triple, and Steins, who beat the throw to first base by busting out of the batter's box, goes all the way from first to home.
But you know that play, Fran, that's local knowledge. As that right field corner plays here, that plays with that kind of kick, the ball tends to hug the wall, as that carom did.
But it hit here.
Right, but I mean, but the ball, instead of caroming straight back to the outfielder, when it hits in that corner, it hugs the wall.
But then the other break was when it hit that wall and started hugging the other wall, then it hit that post.
Saying local knowledge, a guy like Larry Walker, after all, he knows that. He plays that ball that way. Raul Gonzalez, who comes here once, doesn't know that.
But you know what? The outfielder should go out and take a look at all those nooks and crannies before the game, so there's no surprises. I'm not saying he was surprised, but you got to go out there.
Rips one, 1-1.
I know Gary Pettis, you see him before the game hitting balls to the outfielders. He'll be behind the screen in second base, working on the outfielders, and you look at Preston Wilson on deck.
So now So trying to get Helton to keep this game tied. And it's 2 balls and a strike.
And they're pitching to Helton. Ordinarily, they'd be walking Helton, but Preston Wilson is playing against the Mets and playing really against the National League like his talents have been insulted when he was traded away from the Marlins.
So it's 3-1 to Helton. Now, let's see, did they call a balk?
Time was called. Bruce Frommey said, I called time.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is immediately corrected by Fleming.
So the balk was called by the third base umpire, Mike Winters. But Bruce Frommey said, get back to third. And Bruce is in complete control when he's on that field. Watch this. Time is asked for. You see that? You see Helton asked for time. Bruce gave it to him.
3-1, and there's the walk. So like it or not, the Mets have to deal with Wilson.
Now, here's a situation where rarely do we see the Mets throw through with runners on first and third. Helton has decent speed. Preston Wilson's the batter. If you put Helton in motion, I think this time that the Mets are going to throw through because Mike Piazza's past 2 throws have been very good.
I would agree. I don't think he can concede a stolen base in the 5th inning.
The Mets have for about a year and a half. With that runner on first and third, they never threw the ball to second base, but today they might.
So Preston Wilson leading the majors with 41 RBIs. He only drove in 65 runs all last year in 510 at-bats with the Marlins.
And I was told when we were in Florida, as you look at the runners, that the Marlins traded him and brought in Juan Pierre. They wanted to get speed and trade away strikeouts. They also traded away home runs, RBIs, batting average.
And it's interesting, the Rockies, looking for hitting, brought in 2 of the strikeout kings. And Wilson, who led the league in 2000, almost broke the record, and Jose Hernandez, who would have broken the record last year had he played the last 2 weeks.
One thing that's not discussed about Preston Wilson since he came to the Rockies is he's been playing great defense in center field. He can track that ball down.
Now Wilson sitting on a 2-1 count. 3-1. Jay So with very good command, was very cautious to Helton, walked him, and now has been cautious to Wilson.
Pitch is up now.
And cautiously has walked the bases loaded. And
for Larry
no
Walker,
more caution.
No, there's no more caution. And right here, you're getting Larry Walker, who's not as hot as Preston Wilson. But when the leaves turn brown, he will have good numbers. There's Jay So's number, 79 pitches. Now 27 pitches this inning, and again, Ted, we were talking about pitching up in this ballpark. So he's got the bases loaded, and this is the danger zone. Rockies with 2 runs on 7 hits, the Mets with 2 runs on 1 hit.
Walker with only 4 home runs this year. Takes ball 1. Struck out on a high fastball in the 2nd inning, then hit a high fastball into right field for a single in the 4th. Pat Strange gets the first call in the Mets bullpen. Walker, shallow center. Shinjo can't get there, and 2 runs will score. And will a 3rd run score? Here comes a man to the plate. Mets throwing the ball around the field. 3 runs have scored. Now they've got Walker trapped. So throws back to second. He can't get him either.
Well, the big swing helped Larry Walker. The threat of power. You play him deep. He hit the ball off the bat with a complete home run swing. Shinjo couldn't get to it. 2 runs scored. The ball was thrown away. Another run came in. Watch the runners. From 3rd, they score. From 2nd, no-brainer. Now the ball is thrown away. And they're able to pick up another run as Preston Wilson scores. Larry Walker goes to second base. He rounds it, and he challenges Jay So. This is tough. You're so far away. Then he makes the throw, and he throws the ball offline. So Larry Walker with the big swing helped out. Looking around second base now. He's faking. If So threw immediately to second, Walker's going to 3rd, and they don't get him. Because that ball had to be thrown from behind home plate to second base. Walker's got good speed. You throw that ball, and he anticipates correctly. He's going to 3rd.
Now strike to Hernandez, 1-1. So it'll be a single for Walker, 2 RBIs. There'll be an error, I assume, on Shinjo.
I'll tell you what, Shinjo, he was playing deep, and that's how you have to play in this ballpark. You just can't give in to a guy like Larry Walker. He's going to drive the ball.
I'll tell you, the most telling replay in the...
Is he hurt? The groin area?
Interesting to see at the end of the inning. The most telling replay on all of that sequence was Todd Help running from second base. Because the way Todd Help was running, he thought that ball was going to be caught.
Yeah.
He thought that was going to be the third out of the inning.
And of course, as we mentioned, everybody was playing deep for Larry Walker. And again, you got Larry Walker on second base, and he's nursing something. He might leave this ball game.
And Hernandez taps one back to the mound. So the Mets, denied an inning-ending double play, wind up having to cost them in a huge way. A 5-run fifth for Colorado. Guys, there's a lot of pink flesh out there today. People out in the sun for the first time.
Not good.
Well, here's a moment that depicts the state the Mets are in right now, and people may be wondering, why is Jay so batting? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is, of course, the bullpen has been used a lot. So may pitch on in the game. Even if he's not, Art Howe's hands are completely tied today. He doesn't have a bench to use. He has 2 extra men, one of whom is Vance Wilson, his backup catcher.
And Jay So's swinging the bat pretty well.
And he grounds out here. So we'll have to wait and see whether So continues in the game.
Really doesn't take anything. So that's why when he hears about our scouting report, Ted, you run your own. He's not going to be happy.
Well, it was not. And there's the blue notes.
Up there, all those blue notes. Look out.
Now Charles Johnson greets Jay So with a base hit. Here in the last of the 6th inning. What the Mets really need is for So to be able to calm down and get the Mets back to the plate.
They're the blue notes. Now look at this. Guesses at low pitches. A moving zone sets up too far. I'll tell you one thing. Whoever wrote that report didn't like Bruce. He's been around a long time. Now take a look what Bruce has set up. Now the glove is the only thing in his way. He's got a good look at it. If he sees it correctly, he says, that's a strike. Cliff Floyd said, you're crazy. I read the report. I saw that you guess a lot.
Well, you know, yes. It doesn't look like a strike, but no, at the bottom line is that Cliff Floyd can't get thrown out of the ballgame.
No, you're right.
The Mets are so short-handed right now that Cliff Floyd cannot, no matter how angry he is, he can't get thrown out. Now Art House had to use basically the one move he had, he's got to put in the ballgame, which is Roger Cedeno is now in right field. And Roger's going to make the play on this ball. So Cedeno is taken over in right. Raul Gonzalez has slid over to left. And that means the only healthy player that Art Howe has left on his bench is Vance Wilson. Timo Perez, we mentioned, is available to pinch hit. And as of an hour before the game, the feeling was that neither Jay Bell nor Ray Sanchez would be available. Now that obviously could change if you have a dire need. Bell tweaked the groin here in the first inning on Monday night. Lopez going to bat. Lopez going to bunt. So's got to play at second for one. And Lopez runs it out for a double play.
That was a nice play by Jay So. How quickly he got to that ball and how quickly he got it to second base. They tell pitchers to take that crow hop to set their body and their rhythm throwing the ball, or any player takes a crow hop. Now watch this. He catches it in one stride, throws a strike to Joe McEwing at second.
The funny thing is the press continues to hammer Ray Sanchez for a throwing error in a play just like that in San Juan, when virtually every Mets person I talked to said it was Jay So's mistake on a play like that covering at second base. That he didn't take that extra crow hop that we just talked about.
He didn't take a crow hop there. Usually you're taught as a baseball player, you take that crow hop, it gets you a rhythm, it gets you set to throw the ball wherever you're throwing it. Well, he fielded it quickly and made a perfect throw. Hey, if you can do it without the crow hop, you're going to be quicker.
Well, and there was a man, the point of the play in San Juan was that extra crow hop was needed to allow Sanchez to have enough time to get to the base.
Well, as far as the pitcher's concerned, or the person throwing the ball, your job is to get the ball and throw that ball to the base. It's the job of the infielder to get to the base.
There's a liner. Wigginton right there. And Steins lines out. Inning over. So that's what the Mets needed from Jay So. Scoreless bottom of the 6th. Jay So, having thrown 88 pitches, back out to the mound in the bottom of the 7th. This is precisely the kind of, although the result right now is not what the Mets want, it's the kind of effort they need from their starter today. Jay So.
Yeah, he's looked good today. We talked about him pitching up, and he's been getting away with it lately. They scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th.
Jay Payton, who had a big hit. An RBI triple in the 5th inning, hits that line here, and Gonzalez got caught at the last second in between, plays it on the short hop.
Yeah, they say the toughest ball to judge in the outfield is that line drive that's hit right at you. As we take a look at our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule, we go San Francisco after the game, and look at them. Thursday night, Fox Sports New York. Friday, Fox Sports New York. Saturday, Fox 5 and WB 11 on Sunday. So that's our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule.
That's going to a place where they've never won a regular season game, Pacific Bell Park in San Francisco, and they hope to put it into that tomorrow night. We do have one win there. It was a big one. Game 2 of the playoffs in 2000. Helton fouls it away.
Well, you watch Helton swing that bat. He's got a complete approach to hitting. He makes contact, he drives the ball, he hits the ball the other way. When the Mets came into town, he was fighting a slump. His average dropped down to 313. He's hitting 315 now. Picked up a couple key hits to left field first night in. They fear him as much as they fear anybody. Preston Wilson is feared also because he's been on fire.
Stanton continuing to warm up in the Mets bullpen. So facing Helton here for the 4th time. And a pop-up shallow left. Ghhyuk back. Gonzalez in. And there's one down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of Sterling Mets may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets.
You take a look at Helton's swing. He's got that leg kick, and the ball just beats him, and he pops it out. Look at this. That body language is the body language of a man trying to get untracked and come out of a slump. You don't see that body language from Helton very often during the season.
But you know what else? I've got to believe this, Frank. When you play here as a home player, you play 81 games here, and you're a good hitter. I can't believe you ever accept an 0 for here.
Oh.
You don't think it's possible? There's no way I can ever have an 0 for in a game here.
0 for 4 here is bad.
And Helton right now is 0 for 3, and Piazza just runs out of room. It looked like he was going to have a shot at that one.
You know, that's been a big change. We talked about this a few times. And Ted, I know you mentioned the new ballparks, not very much room for foul balls. And you don't see that many guys popping out to the catch, right?
No, I mean, backstops are, I mean, we're going to the, probably, I think San Francisco is the closest backstop.
Well, if it is, they can shake hands with the guy behind home plate.
We're going there tomorrow. I mean, it's, you're right, foul pops behiand the plate. Not like the stadium in the Bronx.
Right, and you know, it used to be, hey, so-and-so's real good catcher of foul balls.
Ooh, Wilson. Look at that high fastball.
They so threw that baby by him. But he's in that danger zone, pitching up there in this ballpark. And Preston Wilson knows as he's swinging that bat, it's out of the strike zone.
He'll get away with it if he keeps it up that high.
Yeah. Well, you know what? With this guy, as strong and as quick as he is, he could probably catch up to a pitch up there. He tried it again.
The key is to lay off.
Yeah.
1 and 2.
He's ranked first in the National League with his 41 RBIs coming into today's action. As you look at the on-deck hitter, Larry Walker.
You know what? It's going to be frustrating to Jay So is that in the 5th inning, after the Rockies tied the game, he pitched very cautiously to Helton and to Wilson, walked them both, and ended up getting burned in a bloop hit by Walker. And here he's gone at Helton, got him out. Gone at Wilson, he's a 2-2.
Kind of surprised now that with real good speed on first base, they haven't attempted to steal second base. Of course, Preston Wilson was thrown out. He's got good speed. as you mentioned, Ted, some managers, especially here in Denver, don't want to give up that run or give up that out, attempting to steal.
There goes Peyton. The outs is throw, not there. So Peyton steals. That is Jay's third stolen base of the year.
But Mike Piazza is throwing better. Watch this. Throws that ball a little bit to the shortstop side of second base. Peyton with the stolen base. He can run. Everybody was always surprised he didn't steal 40 bases a year because he's got excellent speed. We saw him hit the triple earlier in the game and he was flying.
So 3-2 to Wilson. And he puts a fly ball after left center. Shinjo there. Jay Peyton on his way to third. Whoa, close play. Whoa. Closer than it needed to be for the Rockies. That's a you better make it play by Jay Peyton.
Well, Shinjo knows he can run. He's played with him. He makes the grab. He makes the strong, accurate throw. And the high hop saved Peyton. The ball took that hop, that true hop. Watch it, bang. And Peyton slides in under the tag.
That's a great point you raised. The Mets are going to walk Larry Walker. I remember last year, before he got traded, Jay Peyton telling me one day that Shinjo, when he played alongside Shinjo, said that's the best defensive outfielder I've ever played with.
You just challenged him.
Right now, the Mets don't want to challenge Walker. They're going to instead challenge Jose Hernandez.
Go back to that situation again now, runners on first and third. Do the Rockies send the runner from first? Although the way Mike Piazza is throwing the ball today, I think the Mets will tell him to throw through, although there's real good speed on third.
So Jose Hernandez, who has singled to right and grounded out twice, facing Jay So here in the bottom of the seventh. The Mets had Stanton ready to pitch to Walker, but instead they're opting for So versus Hernandez. Strike one.
Hernandez, a dead fastball hitter. We mentioned his propensity for striking out. Likes to chase that bad breaking ball, but Jay So is primarily here's a fastball, hit it someplace type pitcher.
One ball, one strike.
You don't see Mike Piazza do that very often. He's faked to throw to third base. Starting to feel a little bit better about his throwing when you do that. Because he had lost his confidence in throwing that ball. He was bouncing the ball to second base. Some of his bounces, he threw guys out. Ooh.
So Jay So coming to the end of his line. The Mets hope it's right here that he can get Hernandez. Missing outside. 2-1. Hernandez with 45 strikeouts this year. Second in the league to Adam Dunn of Cincinnati. Had Jerry Royster, then the Milwaukee manager, played Hernandez the last 10 days of last year, he would have set an all-time record.
He'd have made Bobby Bonds happy.
All the way. And the fact that Royster did not play Hernandez was really a blemish on Hernandez's record last year and his credibility. And it cost Jerry Royster his job. It was very poorly received in Milwaukee. The Brewers felt embarrassed by that. There's the strikeout totals. Because Jose Hernandez last year was an all-star. He was on the all-star team. In the last 10 days, he was being protected. Foul back.
You know, you can understand what Jerry Royster was thinking about, but as you said, it wasn't received very well. Now Jerry Royster is not managing Milwaukee, and Hernandez is playing in Colorado.
And there's one difference between what they did with Hernandez and, for example, when managers had taken pitchers out with 19 losses. The difference was Hernandez was an all-star list.
Yeah.
He went to the all-star game. That was not a problem. And so that's why it was so badly received around baseball last year. It's different when a guy's struggling and he's lost 19 games and you don't want him to suffer the embarrassment of losing 20. Tapper, So's got it. And Jay So, well, a nice job by him today in coming back after the 5th inning.
And you're going to be happy he took a crow hop. A little one, but he took it.
We go to the 8th. 5-3 Colorado.